August 11th, 1994. A fisherman pulls up his net in the Hawkesbury River, north of Sydney. He's expecting fish, maybe some debris. Instead, he hauls up a steel crucifix, and tied to it, wrapped in plastic bags, is the decomposing body of a man. The crucifix was custom built, professionally welded, made to fit the victim's exact measurements. Someone took the time to design it, build it, and use it to dispose of a body in the most theatrical way possible. For 24 years, nobody knew who he was. The media called him Rack Man. Police called him Unknown Human. Remains E48293. But in 2018, DNA finally gave him his name back. And his story is even stranger than the way he died. Mark Peterson captained a fishing boat called the Lady Marian. On August 11th, 1994, he was trawling for prawns in the Hawkesbury River when he felt something heavy snag in his net. At first, he thought it was a good catch. The heavier the net, the more fish. But when he finally hauled it onto his deck, he saw steel bars, metal, rust, and plastic bags. Out of one of the bags, a bone was sticking out. Peterson immediately called the Broken Bay Water Police. The next day, forensic pathologist Dr. Chris Lawrence examined the remains at the New South Wales Institute of Forensic Medicine. What he found was horrifying. The victim was a male between 21 and 46 years old. He'd been dead for at least a year, possibly longer. His body was wrapped in a long sheet of black plastic, with 2 additional plastic bags over his head. Orange rope and wire were wrapped around his neck and torso, binding him to the steel frame. He died from blunt force trauma to the head. But investigators couldn't determine if he was alive when he entered the water, or if the crucifix was just for disposal. And then there was the crucifix itself. The steel frame cross was 182 centimeters long, about 6 feet. It was professionally welded, with cylindrical metal bars forming the shape of a crucifix. The welding was precise, clean, deliberate, and most disturbing of all, it was custom built to match the victim's wingspan perfectly. Whoever made this didn't grab random materials and throw something together. They measured the victim. They designed the frame. They built it specifically for him. The cross was also far too heavy for one person to lift and dump into a river. Multiple people were involved. This wasn't a crime of passion or a random act of violence. This was planned, coordinated, a message. But a message to who and why? Police initially suspected a gangland killing. The elaborate disposal method screamed organized crime. In the criminal underworld, bodies are sometimes displayed as warnings to others. This is what happens when you cross us. But if that was the case, why couldn't anyone identify the victim? The water had destroyed his fingerprints. DNA technology in 1994 wasn't advanced enough to extract usable genetic material. His dental records didn't match anyone in the system. But he was wearing clothes. He had on a black polo shirt from a company called Everything Australian, a brand that operated between 1982 and 1987. He wore black, no sweat, tracksuit pants and blue and white striped Sparrow brand underwear. In his pocket, a lighter and a pack of cigarettes. Forensic anthropologists created a facial reconstruction of the victim. His face was slightly misshapen. He was short, around 163 centimeters tall. Dark hair, Caucasian. His first lower right molar had been removed when he was young. The reconstruction was circulated to the public. Tips poured in. 5 missing men became prime suspects. Christopher Dale Flannery, a notorious hitman who disappeared in 1985. Peter Matrees, a Greek businessman, believed murdered in 1991. Joe Biviano, a convicted drug dealer. And Max Tancevski, a gambler who vanished in January 1993. Dental records ruled out most of them. DNA technology at the time wasn't good enough to confirm the rest. A reward was offered, $100,000, one of the largest in Australian history. But no credible information came in. Nobody seemed to know who the Rack Man was. Or if they did, they weren't talking. For 24 years, his body sat refrigerated in the Glebe morgue in Sydney, waiting for someone to claim him. In 2018, advances in DNA technology changed everything. The NSW Deputy State Coroner Paul McMahon finally ruled that the mystery remains belonged to 37-year-old Max Tancevski from Sydney. One of the original suspects had been right all along. Max was a heavy gambler. On January 11th, 1993, he was last seen by his partner at their home in Newtown, a suburb of Sydney's inner west. He told her he was going to the Gold Coast to gamble. He withdrew $1,800 in cash from the bank that day, which wasn't unusual for him. He was known to go on gambling binges for days at a time. But this time he never came home. At first, his partner wasn't alarmed. Max would disappear for a few days, lose or win money, and come back. But days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. His name was added to missing persons registries in both New South Wales and Queensland. And then 19 months later, his body was pulled from the Hawkesbury River. But nobody knew it was him. Max had no known connections to the criminal underworld. He wasn't a drug dealer. He wasn't a hitman. He was just a gambler with debts. But that might have been enough. The prevailing theory is that Max owed money to the wrong people. When he couldn't pay it back, they made an example of him. The crucifix wasn't just a disposal method. It was a warning to others. This is what happens when you don't pay up. The professional welding suggests whoever killed Max had access to tools and expertise. The weight of the cross means multiple people were involved. The elaborate staging indicates this wasn't spontaneous murder. Someone planned this. Someone wanted to send a message. But who? And why has no one ever come forward? Police handed the case to the NSW Unsolved Homicide Unit. As of 2024, no suspects have been identified. No arrests have been made. A $100,000 reward still stands for information leading to a conviction. Max Tancevski's killers are still out there, and unless someone talks, they may never be caught. For 24 years, Max Tancevski was known only as Rack Man, a nickname, a mystery, a body without a name. Now at least he has his identity back. His partner knows what happened to him. His family can finally bury him properly. But the question remains, who tied him to that crucifix? Who built it? Who dumped him in the Hawkesbury River? Somewhere in Australia, possibly multiple people, know exactly what happened to Max Tancevski, and they've kept that secret for over 30 years. If you have any information about the murder of Max Tancevski, contact NSW Crime Stoppers. The $100,000 reward is still active,